Public perception of a heart attack usually involves a sudden, dramatic collapse. We expect an unmistakable alarm bell, someone grabbing their chest in agony. Imad contradicted every part of that image. At 41, he was physically active, regularly climbed stairs without effort, and appeared to be in peak health to everyone around him. Underneath that fitness, his cardiovascular system was entering a state of structural failure. He was living through a biological paradox, a body that looked perfect on the outside while the internal pump was quietly breaking down. Cardiac distress begins with whispers. It sends out a sequence of subtle, seemingly unrelated signals that are easy to ignore or attribute to the stresses of daily life. Physical appearance is a deceptive metric for internal health. General wellness can mask a system on the brink of collapse, making outward fitness a dangerous reason to ignore internal changes. Imad's first warning was a deep, unexplainable exhaustion. His body felt heavy, and even getting out of bed required significant effort. He rationalized it as a simple need for more sleep. Soon, a single flight of stairs left him gasping for air. His legs felt unusually heavy, and a strange tightness developed in his chest. He stood still, pretending to check his phone, while deciding he was just out of shape. This mechanical representation shows a failing heart. Weakened, it struggles to deliver oxygen-rich blood to peripheral muscles, causing profound fatigue. As blood flow slows, fluid backs up toward the lungs, occupying space meant for oxygen. This is why simple walks suddenly feel like marathons. The early stages of heart failure mimic the symptoms of a long work week. This overlap makes self-diagnosis unreliable, as the body's warning signs are easily mistaken for ordinary tiredness. The third warning arrived at night. Imad woke up drenched in sweat, despite a cool room. He sat in the dark, breathing fast, and told himself he was just suffering from work-related stress. His body was actually reacting to a drop in blood pressure. A struggling heart triggers the sympathetic nervous system, dumping adrenaline into the blood and forcing the body into a state of heavy sweating. A mild ache then appeared, in his left shoulder, eventually moving into his neck and his jaw. Because the pain was dull and temporary, he assumed he had simply slept in an awkward position. This systemic map of the nervous system illustrates the phenomenon of referred pain. Distress signals from the heart travel along shared nerve pathways, causing the brain to perceive pain in the jaw, neck, or shoulder rather than the chest. This neural misdirection often leads people to treat the wrong symptoms. They reach for heating pads or joint creams, while the actual source of the distress, the heart, remains unaddressed. By the following week, Imad's ankles and feet were visibly swollen. When he pressed his finger into the skin, the dent remained. He dismissed it, blaming the swelling on sitting at his desk for too long. A few days later, his mind went blank during a meeting. He felt a wave of dizziness and his vision blurred. He reached for a cup of coffee, assuming he just needed a caffeine boost to clear the fog. This diagram shows the mechanical consequences of a weak pump. A stressed heart cannot effectively fight gravity, allowing fluid to pool in the lower extremities. Simultaneously, the heart fails to push enough oxygenated blood upward, causing cognitive misfires and dizziness in the brain. The failing pump creates a dual crisis, a structural buildup of fluid at the body's lowest points, and a systemic starvation of oxygen at the highest. The seventh sign was a crushing weight in the center of his chest. It felt like a heavy stone had been placed over his heart, and cold sweat instantly covered his forehead. In the dark of his bedroom, his excuses stopped working. He felt the weight on his chest, alongside the memory of deep exhaustion, the gasping on the stairs, the night sweats, and the swollen ankles. Emergency tests at the hospital confirmed his heart was under severe, prolonged stress. Despite his active lifestyle and healthy appearance, his cardiovascular system had reached a critical limit. Survival in these cases depends on the window of time before total failure. It requires recognizing the cumulative effect of small physical changes before the heart reaches a point where it can no longer function. Our instinct to blame aging, stress, or bad habits is a dangerous psychological barrier. These rationalizations allow life-threatening conditions to develop without intervention. Heart disease relies on deception, disguising systemic collapse as the mundane, everyday discomforts of a busy life. We must shift our focus from waiting for a catastrophic event to monitoring for subtle internal changes. Listening to these whispers is the only way to catch a failing heart before it stops.